Hey, thank you so much for joining me once again for Creative Spark Plugs. I'm Eric Scott, and as always, I am here to share a quick, easy idea for you. Just something that you can try to get those creative sparks sparking again. So today I am sharing a tried and true activity exercise that I've been doing myself for a really long time, but I really love sharing it with students. And that's why I kind of think of these creative spark plugs are really kind of challenges. And so, anyway, this one involves using some simple shapes, but I'm putting some parameters, some limitations on the numbers and the types of shapes. And this is all about trying to make an interesting composition just using these simple shapes and the numbers of that. So I have it listed. I'll show you that list here in a moment. But the idea, like I said, is to try to create some visually interesting compositions, not trying to make a picture, not trying to make something representational. So actually, if you kind of think of this more as abstract or more non-objective, it'll probably be a little bit easier because you really want to think about how you're filling the space that you're drawing on. And for that, I'm going to turn again to my sorry, my mind went blank, but turn once again to my index cards. And yeah, so I'm going to do that. And usually with this activity, I'll do at least 5 of these cards. And oftentimes I will set a timer. So like usually like 15 minutes or so, but sometimes even shorter. So anyway, so you're thinking about like the composition, and I'm giving you parameters. They're not really like hard fast steady rules, and so you have to kind of think about how you're interpreting this challenge, and like what you can and can't do. So when I do this in a classroom with a room full of students, whether they're high schoolers or adults, that I get these questions about like, well, what do you mean by this, or can we do this, or can we do that? And I'm like, well, I've set the parameters. Now you as the artist, you as the creator, have to kind of think about that. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and flip it over so I can talk about what we're going to do, show you really quickly, and let you kind of get to it yourself. So let me go ahead and turn it over. Okay, so got my stack of index cards. Like I said, I'll probably do usually do about 5. Maybe I won't do that many, but here is my list. Now this list changes. So if you've done this before with me, maybe you took a workshop with me, the numbers might be a little bit different, but the types of things are still the same. So in this, so on each of these, so let's kind of just ignore the stack and let's just focus on one card. So on this card, I can turn it up and down like this, or I can turn it sideways. That's the first decision. But on there, I'm only going to draw these shapes and lines and only this many. Okay. And I have to draw that many. I can't do less and I can't do more. I have to do this number. Okay. So those are the parameters. So I'm allowed to draw 4 rectangles and or squares, because squares are rectangles. So all squares are rectangles, but not all rectangles are squares. I'm allowed to draw 3 circles, 3 straight lines, 2 curved lines, and 1 triangle. I'm allowed to draw that. However, here's the thing. If I overlap 2 rectangles, they might make a third shape, a third rectangle. Now, you'll ask, oh, can we do that? Well, the rule is that I can only draw 2 rectangles. So if they happen to overlap and create a third rectangle, I still only drew 2. So yes, you're allowed to do that. The other thing is that sometimes folks will quickly understand like, oh, well, if I have curved lines and I draw a curved line, it might look like a circle that goes off the edge of the page. So if I draw a curved line at the edge, it might look like a semicircle. Is that allowed? Well, what did you draw? Oh, I drew a curved line. Okay, you drew a curved line. It looks like a circle, but you drew a curved line. Now, what if I draw a circle that goes off the edge of the paper? Well, I drew a circle. So it's about what your intention is. Okay. So that's why I think this is a lot of fun, because it really starts to like, you know, get you to think about like, well, what does that mean? Well, what if I draw 3 circles? I'm like, oh, what if I want a circle over here to help balance something out? So that's something, well, you can't draw another circle, but you can draw curved lines. Oh, I can only draw 1 triangle. Yeah, but I also have straight lines too. So, you can kind of play around and sort of bend the rules. Like I said, they're not really hard, fast, steady rules. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and turn my paper this way. So on this one card, I'm going to draw all of these. Okay. And then once I do that, then I'll get my other card and then I'll do it again. But I'll just try it differently. So I want to try to make it visually interesting. So if I just put all my shapes in the middle, not going to be visually interesting. So I really want to think about going to the edge and actually going off the edge. So let's go ahead and start off. I'm going to do my 4 rectangles or squares. So maybe I'll do one over here. And I do this a lot. I like to do 3. I like the number 3. So, you know, there's 3. Maybe I want to do the 4th one. Maybe it's going to go off the edge over here. Now, I don't have to go in this order. So if I feel like, oh, I want to do my curved lines or my straight lines next, I can. But let's go ahead and do it in order. So I'm going to do my 3 circles. So I always think about like, okay, I'm going off the edge here. Maybe I'll have a circle go off the edge over here. And again, I'm drawing a circle. So to me, it's a circle. It's not a curved line, even though I use a curved line to draw a circle. Maybe one up here to kind of help balance it out. And then maybe I'll make a big one up here in the corner. So now I have 3 circles. Now my straight lines. You know, since I only can do one triangle, what I might want to do is I might want to have my straight lines, maybe do a diagonal, and maybe I'll have one come up this way. And then maybe I'll have one go over this way. And what I like about that, it implies triangles, okay? But I drew 3 straight lines. Yes, I could draw 3 straight lines that connect to make a triangle. I don't know, can I? Can I do that? That's up to you to decide. All right, curved lines. So I'm looking, I've got a curved line here, you know, circles though. So I have circle, circle, circle. I don't have any curvy circular things down here. So maybe I want to take and make a curved line that appears to be a circle that goes off the edge of the paper. So that's one curved line. Where do I make the other? Well, maybe I'll make another big one that cuts across. Okay. So I'm trying to think about balance, trying to, you know, have things even, and then a triangle. So now one more shape to draw, and maybe I'll do my triangle kind of more in the middle, and then maybe I'll have it go off the edge here and off the edge there. And again, it starts to, you know, it kind of works with those diagonal lines that I drew. So, and that's it, you know, so that's one. Now I like to do these in a series because it's just easier. I think what happens is I can start to think about, let me move these around. I can think about like, what do I like about this? You know, so maybe I like the 3 rectangles there, but maybe I want to make them bigger, make them take up more space. You know, so what I'm trying to do is on the second one, make it better, make it more visually interesting, better composition, more balanced, more exciting. Okay. Maybe I like the rectangle there, but maybe I'll do it at the top. Maybe it'll come down and go off there. So now I'm dividing up the space. Okay. My circles this time, maybe I'll do a big circle here. Balance it out with a smaller circle here, and then maybe a smaller or another small circle down there. And then straight lines. Again, I'm doing this in order, but you can do it in any order you want. Straight lines. I kind of feel like I want to have one vertical straight line. But then maybe think about, I like those diagonals. Again, it helps kind of with the one triangle. All right, curved lines. I'm thinking maybe I'll have one up here and then maybe one down at the bottom. Again, trying to think about balance, trying to think about layout, and then finally a triangle. And I think I want to have it go this direction. Again, it can go off the edge of the paper. Come back this way. And so, you know, got my triangle there. Yeah, so I'm really thinking about how those shapes and those lines can go off. So usually I would do at least 3 more. Sometimes I'll sit down and do a whole series of 10. But then what do I do with these afterwards? So if I wanted to, I could go back with my pen. I could make lines thick. I can think about like maybe filling in spaces, black and white. Maybe I do some coloring with colored pencil or marker. The other thing I like to do is to use these in my journal. And I love kind of lining them up and finding lines. Like here's a line that connects. And so if I glue it in, maybe I think about how does this stuff, like here's a curved line. What if it starts to line up with like this curved line, so maybe I can angle it in a way that that creates a line, so I just really like how some of these things start to line up. Maybe this gets turned around like that, and then I have kind of a rectangle going there. So yeah, so you could really do anything with these, but I just like the fact that I'm not trying to draw a picture of something. It doesn't have to be recognizable. I can use these and I can shade them, I can color them, I can paint them, I can put them in my journal, and I can use them in a variety of ways. But it's just, when I'm stuck, when I'm like, oh, I don't know what to do, just this. Now, here's the thing, I can change this up. So maybe I want to do 5 rectangles and 4 circles. So I could change this up, or maybe I say, oh, I'm going to only do rectangles. And maybe I say 10 rectangles, or maybe I'm going to say rectangles and circles, so you can really kind of play around and use as many lines. Maybe you want to throw in jagged lines. Maybe you want to throw in a different kind of shape. But I think keeping it simple, and I like having like 5 elements. But anyway, so it's just it's a fun thing. And like I said, you can change it up and create any kind of challenge that you want. All right, so there's another quick, easy little spark plug. And like I said, this could be just the beginning of something. So take a look at all these exercises as sort of a stepping stone. Like, oh, this gets me started, but then it's not like, oh, what do I do with all these random papers and paintings and images? Maybe they go into a journal. Maybe they you use them and you embellish them and you develop them even further. They are really just activities and challenges to keep you going. So I hope you enjoyed another of these creative spark plugs, and I hope you will join me again. So don't forget to hit that like button. All right. And leave a comment, question, or if you want to share what you've been doing, I'd love to see what you're doing. So make sure that you tag me. You can find me on all those primary social media platforms. And and don't forget to subscribe, and then you can keep up to date whenever I post. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me once again, and happy creating.